Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with some EVE Online, and I think I played around average when it comes to EVE Online. I did spend some time hunting for those rogue drone sites, and well, I got a couple skins, I got a couple of injectors out of that, so I'm actually pretty happy with the results. I also, of course, kept up with the blueprint copy business. It's slowing down, I have to be honest here. There looks to be much less demand for blueprint copies of structure parts than in the previous months, so maybe I'll have to lower the prices a little bit, maybe it's more competition, but I think that basically the summer is starting to come through, a little bit lower activity, lower preparations for everything, and as a result I'm not selling that many blueprint copies at the moment. BI, of course, I'm still doing that as well, although we've probably seen from EVE Talk that prices are coming back down from very strong places in March, April to around average prices at the moment, I would say, for PI. And my personal expectations there are that we may see lower prices and actually buy opportunities throughout the summer as activity decreases, but also as demand seems to be dropping off a little bit. So we'll see how all of that works out. And the final thing that I did, of course, is I did go and take a look at the Battle of Auga, where mostly I would say goons went after the keep star that was deployed there. They managed to destroy it, so it was a pretty nice battle actually for a 4-hour battle with 2,000 people. And there was a lot of tie-dye, I have to be honest, but the camera was pretty responsive, and I actually think that most people will have had a decently enjoyable time in that battle, where at least gameplay wise everything worked the way it should. So I was really impressed by that, and I'm bringing you guys a video on the Battle of Auga early next week. Next up we have a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. I played around the schedule of trying to play as few games as possible to complete daily quests, to never let a quest lapse, so always make sure that at the end of the day I have one quest done, and that's been basically 1 to 2 games a day, so I've been decently lucky with those quests. It usually is play 2 games with a StarCraft hero or play 2 games with a World of Warcraft hero, and I just got Chromie, which I bought for 10,000 gold, and she's a really interesting hero. Not that easy to play with because all her attacks are basically a little bit telegraphed. The enemy knows what you're trying to do. But she has extreme range, and she can actually get things done and get things going if you can position yourself outside the view of your opponent. So she's a very interesting hero, and she's what I've been playing when it comes to completing the quest for playing games with a World of Warcraft hero. And then for a StarCraft hero, of course, Zagara is still my go-to. I enjoy playing her the most, I would say, out of all the heroes that I have so far in Heroes of the Storm. So yeah, win a couple, lose a couple, but if you can get by on average with 2 to 3 games a day, sometimes I just needed 1 game because, for instance, I managed to win my 3rd game for the other quest, or I finish 8 games for one of those big quests, then, you know, it's just a quiet day, 1 game of Heroes of the Storm, and then let the new quest come in so that I can complete as many objectives as possible with as few games as possible. This feels almost a little bit too low in number of games, I would say. So trying to finish all the quests all the time is probably a little bit too much. Things get too intense there, but this is almost too low. I think I can manage a couple of extra games as well. So we'll see how all of that works out. Maybe I need to find my own schedule. Maybe let's say 2 or 3 games a day, maybe up to 4 on the weekends or something like that, to keep up with the way I enjoy playing Heroes of the Storm, get everything out of that when it comes to the gold, because I think it's actually you gain gold at a decent clip in Heroes of the Storm, and it's very rewarding to unlock another hero for 10,000 gold. So far it's going well. I'm still enjoying the game, and I'm playing with some of my favorite heroes at the moment, just taking my time. And this week I didn't play that many games, but I managed to keep up with the quest, so in my opinion it's all good. And finally, we have some Stellaris, so I decided to switch back to a Stellaris game. There was a concept with the hive mind that I wanted to try out. I've been wanting to try that out ever since I first got the expansion, basically. But Venerable is such an easy perk to take that basically means you don't have to manage your leaders that much, which gives you extra influence as well, because they cost influence, and so that's my go-to if I want to just explore another game of Stellaris, maybe new mechanics and stuff like that. I just take Venerable because that is so powerful, but this time I went with a hive mind that is super adaptive. I chose the continental world so that I'm in between the wet ones and the very dry ones, and that was amazing. I had a really good start on my third start there, and every planet you encounter becomes colonizable, and because you're a hive mind, they don't mind at all that they're in bad living conditions. They'll give it their all. My little drones all over the place, and I managed to expand very quickly. The other empires around me were at maybe 3 or 4 planets, and I was approaching 12-13 planets already, having to add different sectors and things like that. This did draw their ire, so I must say, if you're taking Venerable, you're taking your time, you can keep things a bit more balanced in your military power. When you go super expansionist, they don't like that, and so far in this playthrough they've attacked me twice, but my economy is so much stronger that I can just switch to pump out ships. The first attack was pretty early, so I just kept pumping out cheap bad corvettes, but I managed to boost up my military too much for them, and I pushed them back both times. Now another disadvantage, people really don't like you. They all close your borders, so there's an entire region of the galaxy that I've not been able to expand to and to explore just yet, and so you have to switch to a more aggressive stance with that build, with a super adaptive hive mind, and I've been doing that also next to defensive wars. I've done a few opportunistic offensive wars as well, and it's been going decently well. Every time I ended up winning the war, grabbing 1 or 2 planets, and that mechanic is actually pretty interesting, not what I expected. So you do kill off the local population, of course, because you're the hive mind, you don't tolerate anything else on your planet, but for the, let's say, 60-70 months that it takes your hive mind to do that, they produce massive amounts of food, and so that basically gives the rest of your population a massive boost in growth as well. So that does seem to work, although in this particular game there is a Federation builder on the other side of the galaxy that is about as big as me, and is quite a worry, but there's still 3 fallen empires between us as well. So all in all, this Stellaris game has been very interesting. I think it's a very powerful build. It's just that war in Stellaris is very difficult. It does take a lot of effort and a lot of preparation to start a war, but with this playthrough I think I'm learning more about that as well. So overall, yeah, very fun game. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to keep up with it, but I've got a couple videos already, and I'm going to share with you guys the progress there as well with the super adaptive hive mind. And that was all I had time for this week. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.